guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to look at something a little bit different. I've just purchased 3 valve radios here. So these are all New Zealand branded radios. So we've got a small Bell Colt valve radio here, and we've got a Columbus valve radio, and we've also got a New Zealand 1936 limited radio. Now I'm not sure on the year or model of this radio yet, I'm still doing a bit of research, but it's made by a company called New Zealand 1936 Limited. Okay, well I thought it would be interesting, something a little bit different to look at, and we can just see if they work. This Bell Colt I got for $40 New Zealand. Now I'm not sure if that's a good deal or not. Normally they go for around 100 in working condition, and I don't know if this one actually works or not, but we'll power it on later and have a look. These 2 older looking wooden cabinet radios here I got for $30 for the 2. Now I think that's probably a good buy even if they're not working. I'm really hoping this radio works. This has got the magic eye valve there, and I quite like the look of those. Okay guys, well what we'll do now is we'll just clear this workbench out, and we'll just make a bit of room here, and we'll start testing these radios. Right, we'll take a look at this Bell Colt radio first. Now I'm unsure on the year on this radio, but I'm guessing it's a 60s era radio. Now this casing here, I'm not sure if that's actually Bakelite or plastic. Casing's not in too bad a condition, got a bit of yellow staining there. There's actually a slight crack on the top here, and I actually noticed there was a crack underneath the radio as well. You can slightly see the crack there, and we'll just turn this round. Now just a little disclaimer, I'm not an expert on valve radios, so I'm not too sure how they actually work, but just looking at the back of that, that's a 4 valve radio. So we got aerial wires here, so I'm guessing one's earth and the other's the aerial. Just turn this back around. Now I found a interesting website on the internet, Vintage Radio New Zealand. I'll put a link in the description for that site. Now one of the interesting things I found was the die for this casing here was actually used for a Australian radio called the Airzone Cub. Now the casing basically is the same, and the knob layout is a little bit different on the Bell Colt. On the Airzone Cub they didn't have this middle knob here, so you just had the 2 outer ones. Now if you look closely here, you can see the outlines where the Airzone Cub logo would have gone. We'll get a close-up anyway, and hopefully you'll be able to see that a little bit better. Okay, so that's the on-off switch I think. That might just be a tone knob, and there's your tuning knob there. Well, we'll plug it in. I'm guessing the only thing that can go wrong with it is it'll blow a fuse in the house if there's something internally wrong with the radio. So we'll plug it in and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'll just switch that on. Just turn that on there, see what happens back here. Oh yep, I can see some of those valves are starting to light up, but I can't hear anything. Oh yeah, there we go. It's just making a loud humming sound, so we'll just go through the stations here, we'll just see if we can pick anything up. So I don't think this radio is actually doing anything, it's just basically that same sound right the way through. Now I wouldn't mind getting this going, so if anyone out there knows what to check on this sort of radio, that would be good to know. Just put it into the comment section there and I'll take a look at that. Okay, well we'll get on to check another radio out. I think we'll check this one out next. So this is a wooden cabbed radio cabinet. Just noting on the cabinet here you can see this clear coat or varnish is coming off, and the cabinet's just made of plywood, and you can just see a veneer sort of overlay of wood here. This grill material is all in good condition, there's no holes there. And just coming down here, oh yep, all the knobs are labelled, so we've got a tone, volume, band switch, so it's a multi-band radio with broadcast and shortwave stations there, and this is your tuning knobs. Oh yeah, looks interesting. Oh yes, that must be the on off as well on this one. Now it's interesting seeing some of these valves here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 valves in total. Over here, yep, we've got aerial in green, so at least that's labelled, and the black must be the earth wire. That's an interesting looking radio. I wonder if this chassis has actually been out before, because I just noticed these newer looking screws here, and they're not the original screws, I wouldn't think, because they seem to be too long for this cabinet. So if these were to be fully screwed down, just go through this cabinet wood. So we'll get this one plugged in, switched on here, go around to the on off knob here, and we'll just see what happens. So these valves are lighting up. That's good, got sound. And we'll just see if we can pick up a station here. Oh yeah, that's good. So at least we know that we've got one radio that works. Now I just noticed too, there's a little green indicator there, and I think that's for your station strength. So we'll just see what happens when we go back to the station here. Oh yeah, see that change? So just at a guess, the stronger the station signal, the closer those two bars get together there. Now I don't know if much is really broadcast on AM these days, but we'll just see. Maybe that's going to be the only station.
Recipe for success
against the
Australians. And we go back to the 2015 World Cup semi-final and the year that New Zealand were all out for 26 in the test. And remember this.
Download the latest podcast now on iHeartRadio, powered by News Talk ZB.
Cool. Now before we look at our next radio, we'll just identify the model of this radio first. Now if we go over and have a look at this website here, this is that New Zealand Vintage Radio website I mentioned earlier. There's a radio found on here manufactured by the Radio 1936 Limited Company. Now this one's called a Ultimate RCG. Now the spec's a little bit different to the one I've got here. This is just a broadcast radio. The one that I've got is a multi-band one. So I noticed here it's got Ultimate RCG. I've looked on the back tag of my radio and it reads RCB. So my guess it's an Ultimate RCB. Now this one is manufactured in 1953. So that just gives us a rough idea on when my one is manufactured. Okay, well we'll take a look at this last radio here. This is the Columbus. We'll get this onto the workbench and we'll check it out. Now I've identified this one as the Columbus Clipper. So just to give you an idea on the date, be roughly about 1939. The cabinet on this one's actually in pretty good condition, and it's got a lot of detail to this cabinet as well. So you've got the nice edging here on the radio, and again a veneer wood paneling, but also just this inlay here which is quite nice. So the speaker cover, we've just got a little hole there, but it looks to be original material. This is the Magic Eye here, and I'm guessing that this is all Bakelite. These knobs, these switches here. Now the controls here, don't know what each of them does yet, but just looking at these here, these must be presets that you can set somehow. Oh yeah, this is the volume control, and actually I don't know how well you can see that, but that little indicator sort of moves as you're moving the volume. This here is the tuner, and I'm guessing this last one, this is tone, and you can probably just see that little indicator moving as I move the tone knob. Not sure what these switches do here, but it might be on off switch. Oh, that might be a band selector actually, and it's a dual wave radio. Now just on the side here I noticed a switch as well, and it's got set both or EXT, which I'm guessing is external, so this will be for a speaker output. Okay, we'll get this turned round and we'll have a look in the back of it. Now from what I can see, it's a 6-valve radio plus the Magic Eye. Just looking up here, this must be where you connect your external speaker up to. The switch is just on the other side there. Okay, you can see this looks like what was used for aerial. So just have a look at that. And then we've got A and E there, so I'm guessing one's aerial, one's earth. Now the insulation on this, it's all cloth insulation. Don't know how safe this is going to be, but we'll plug it in and give it a go anyway, and see what happens. But yeah, this is quite an interesting radio, and this is the one that I was hoping that would go. It's certainly the nicest looking radio out of the three. Okay, so we'll just plug this one in. Hopefully this insulation's good on this mains cable into the unit, but we'll test it out anyway. Okay, so we'll just work out how to turn this on. So we'll try this one first. Oh yep, so we've got a light there on the tone indicator. Just see what's happening around the back. You can see this one starting to glow. I'm just going to go around the front and we'll just see if we can find the volume. So I don't know if you can hear that, but I can just hear a slight hum. So just going through the stations here, slight bit of static there, and not sure if you can hear that sort of slight hum in the background. I might just check that external speaker connection isn't set to external only, so just turn that around. It's set to both at the moment. I'll just put it on to set. So all I'm hearing is a hum in the background, slight bit of static, but unfortunately this one looks like it's a non-goer. But yeah, unfortunately we can conclude that this radio doesn't work, which is a bit of a shame. So this is another one that will need to be repaired. Well, that brings us to an end of another video. Thanks for checking out these valve radios with me. Unfortunately we just had the one radio that worked, but I still think it was a pretty good deal for the three of them anyway. Never know, I might be able to fix the other two. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.